Shout out to Kevin Smith for sending me this story. Now, I don't have an actual picture of the person that I'm going to be talking about, so I have to use this image that was attached to the article that was sent to me. And as you can see, it's a picture of a Detroit police cruiser. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is another racial profiling incident, but it actually involves a police officer who was black who was racially profiled by a police officer who was white. So there was this police officer who was a 15-year veteran with the Detroit Police Department by the name of Christopher Williams, who was racially profiled by this other white police officer, mainly because he claimed, now this is the claim, that he had a large sum of cash on him. So basically now, if you're black and you have a lot of money on you, it's pretty much illegal, and that's grounds for you being racially profiled. He probably thought the typical thing. He probably thought he was a drug dealer of some sort, or he probably thought he robbed somebody. It never fails. Let me go ahead and read this article. The Detroit Police Department has launched an internal investigation after a black veteran officer said he was racially profiled by a white officer for allegedly carrying too much money. So basically, he was pocket watching, which is a very non-manly thing to do, by the way. Christopher Williams, who has been on the department for almost 15 years, was among 100 or so plainclothes officers at the city's police training center on June 6 to log hours for annual requirements. Todd Perkins, Williams' attorney, told NBC News on Sunday that the officer was in possession of more than $5,000 that his girlfriend, who was also an officer, had asked him to hold. Williams' girlfriend attended the June 6 training and had withdrawn the money during her lunch break to purchase money orders to pay her bills. At the end of the day-long training, Williams said he encountered a white officer in the bathroom who saw him shoving money into his pockets. As Williams exited the training center with his girlfriend and walked to the parking lot, he said he was approached by the white officer who allegedly grabbed him, threw him up against a fence, and handcuffed him. Williams said the white officer, who has been with the department for 3 years, told him, "You're not supposed to have that kind of money," according to his attorney. See, why? Again, pocket watching is a non-manly thing to do. He just could not mind his business and said, oh, this guy just cannot possibly have this money. Now, my question to that white officer would be, if it was another white person who was having money like this, would he have reacted the same exact way? After Williams' girlfriend showed the white officer her bank withdrawal receipt, he let Williams go. Assistant Police Chief James White said Friday that the incident is under investigation and that he was not asserting blame prematurely. "I like to see what happened," White said in a video posted to the department's Facebook page. "To say that it is a racial component, I've got someone in the bathroom with a very large sum of money on him, and an inquiry is being made as to where did you get the money. That's not unreasonable to me." White said the race of the officers does not cause him great concern unless it is determined that the actions of the white officer, whose identity has not been disclosed, were racially motivated. He said that on June 6th, there was a ribbon cutting for a new fitness center at the training facility, and there were people in the building who were not officers. One of the things that I'd be trying to figure out, at what point did the officer identify himself as a police officer? See, now see how they're kind of pushing it onto the black officer. So they're basically saying because the black officer wasn't dressed in police uniform and he was dressed in plain clothes, that he just had to have been just some random person. And if that white officer did not know that this guy was a cop, what business of it was of his about how much money this guy had? He just saw. See, that also goes back to that thing where a lot of white people think that black people shouldn't have nice things. That as far as clothes, jewelry, cell phones, especially vehicles, and most definitely houses. Like, they feel that you shouldn't live in a certain place or drive a certain car. And that usually goes back, it's almost like a dick measuring contest with many of them, especially when it comes to white males. Like, they'll get upset if you drive a nicer car than them, or if you live in a nicer neighborhood than them and have a better house in that neighborhood than they do, because they feel that, like, that's why I always say that they're not far removed from their ancestors. Because back then it was always a thing where white people had it better and have it better, and in most cases today still do, but Now I'm not gonna say it's a leveling out of the playing field, because it most definitely is not. I mean, if you look at that racial wealth gap, it's pretty much evident that it isn't. It's very, very one-sided even today. But they can't even bear to see even one black person rise to the occasion and above them, because they've gone with this trope of pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, or they always have it where they want us to always rely on them just so they could throw it back in our face. And the minute that we actually do that, and not because we're doing it because they say so, but because we're doing it for our own benefit, they get upset. Which is why a lot of times back in the day, towns got burnt down and homes got destroyed in the whole nine. That's why I've said that jealousy is the cousin to hatred. They're very close in relation, like they're first cousins. Let's see. Perkins said the white officer did not identify himself as an officer before handcuffing his client. For all we know, this could have looked like a random citizen's arrest. White also said in the video, the second thing that we will look at is it a large sum of money? Where did it come from? Why did he have it? That's a reasonable question for someone who was in a restroom counting money in a building that's open at the time. Perkins said White's response was shameful and that it requires his client to defend having money. My client was injured by this mentally, Perkins said. He's distraught. There has to be some remuneration. It comes to my client. He doesn't want this to happen to anyone. Both White and Perkins said it was ironic that this incident occurred at the center where diversity training is among the requirements. So this guy, this person, who has not been identified by name nor by face, was wearing plain clothes when he did this, and still decided to do it anyway because he saw a black man counting a large sum of cash and claimed that he should not have it. In so many words, y'all cannot tell me that this palm-colored beast is not far removed from their ancestors, nor are they wicked. This Christopher Williams, this cop, is lucky that he did not shoot him, because he probably, if he wasn't in a public place like that, he probably would have shot him. Who knows? But that's just the story of our life. We can't have, it's basically the summary of the whole thing is we can't have nice things. And it shows, even like I said, to this day. They want us to still be living in a time where they feel we are beneath them, and I do mean in every form of fashion. Or to the fact that, like I said earlier, we are constantly dependent on them. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.